Your first pick of the week is Pittsburgh +1 at Cleveland. Now you can get it at
Yeah.
+1.5.
Okay,
So
so
plus
Pittsburgh
one and a
plus
half.
one and a
Cleveland.
half.
Let's go Pittsburgh too.
So the Cleveland is starting Dorian Thompson Robinson, a fifth round rookie, who listen, he only started one game this year, and that was the game Deshaun Watson pulled himself out of a couple hours before kickoff. He was terrible, but I'm not going to hold that against him. He didn't get the full week of practice, and he didn't know he was going to start. I thought Dorian Thompson Robinson was excellent in the preseason, and I think he'll be okay. I just don't know if he'll be okay this week. I also, maybe I'm the only one, I respect what the Steelers have done. I know that they probably, from a metrics and a stat standpoint, they shouldn't be 6-3, but they are. I picked them before the year to win that division. I still think they're live to do that. I think that the offense has, I don't want to say gotten better, but shown a few signs of life over the last couple weeks since Matt Canada moved down from the booth to the sideline. And right now, I told you, AFC North teams getting points. I said it more than 3.5 is an almost must bet. I'm not betting the Thursday night game tonight, but I know this is only 1.5. I just like Pittsburgh in this spot.
Next, you've got Jacksonville -6.5 versus Tennessee.
Yeah, Jags at home, bounce back spot after getting blown out by the Demonte doesn't like it. He's making a very unattractive face about it. I don't think you want that on for the YouTube audience, pal. And the one of the mistakes some gamblers make is in a positive or negative direction, overreacting to what we saw last 1 week ago. I understand the Jags couldn't block the Niners. The Niners looked like a machine, and the Jags looked terrible. The Jags, here's a good stat from our producers. Good teams above 500, who scored less than 14 points in the previous week over the last decade, are 101-77 against the spread in the last decade. Why? Because people overreact to them. Jacksonville at home against Tennessee should be laying more than a touchdown. They're laying 6.5. I understand Vrabel getting points typically. He's not quite Tomlin, but he's in that realm. I just don't like this Tennessee team at all.
Seahawks -1 at the Rams.
All right, all of the trends on this are bad for me. McVay owns Pete Carroll, which I understand has been a problem. Geno as a favorite is not good. This is a very straightforward one. I think the Rams right now are actually slightly overvalued. They're obviously, and we talk about this every week, they obviously are not going to have home field advantage in any of these games. And the Rams coming into the year, people thought this could be one of the worst teams in football. They threw everyone off the scent because in week 1 against Seattle, they blew them out. And people were like, oh, maybe the Rams are going to be legit. They're not. Since then, their wins have come in overtime against the Colts and against the Cardinals, who were, at the time, maybe the worst team in football. I think the Rams have a brutal offensive line. I think Seattle is a good team that has real trouble with the best teams in the league. They lost to the Bengals. They got blown out by the Ravens. I don't think they're going to have trouble with the Rams here. I don't mind laying the points, especially because I think it'll probably be at least 50-50 Seahawks fans there.
Minnesota +2.5 at Denver.
Yeah, I think people are right now overvaluing Denver and undervaluing Minnesota. Minnesota's coached very well by Kevin O'Connell. Josh Dobbs has played well. And Denver, man, Buffalo did everything they could to lose that game, and Denver still almost gave it to them. Denver still tried to give it right back to them. I think it's very interesting watching Sean Payton call plays for this Denver team, because even though Russ has some of his numbers are shockingly good, Sean Payton clearly doesn't trust him and is trying to coach around the quarterback and the play calling. I don't think that will work against Minnesota. I think Minnesota is going to be able to take care of the football. Minnesota is in a spot where they are, they can't obviously lock up a playoff spot, but because it is so hard to find a third wild card team in the NFC other than Minnesota, they're in a really strong position. They also maybe are tricking themselves into thinking they could run down Detroit in the division. Minnesota is going to win this game.
Kansas City minus 2.5 at Philly. Or versus Philly, sorry, at home.
Yeah, at home. Yeah, I don't care about the Mahomes against the spread numbers because he's almost always such a huge favorite. It's so rare to be able to get the Chiefs laying less than a field goal. When you have that opportunity, I think it's almost a must bet. If you remember, they were underdogs in the AFC Championship game against Cincinnati, despite it being at Arrowhead because of Mahomes' injury. They were underdogs in the Super Bowl. I think the Chiefs, Andy Reid off a bye, is about as good as it gets in this league. Now, I understand the Eagles are also off a bye, but Mahomes' unwavering confidence that the offense is going to get it going is incredibly encouraging. Say it again.
All you need? Feel warm and
yeah, I think the Chiefs' defense is excellent, and Mahomes absolutely, it does not seem like false bravado. And so the Chiefs are at home, laying less than a field goal, off a bye against an Eagles team that, while their record is excellent and I have massive respect for the Eagles, it's not like they have looked like a flawless team up to this point in the season. This is, to me, a great spot for the Chiefs to remind everyone they're still the best team in the NFL, hands down. I'll lay the 2.5 with Kansas City. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.